Today, I'm going to walk through Agile Fundamentals, not just what Agile is, but why it exists and how it actually works in real world teams. I'll break down the mindset, key values, and the most common frameworks like Scrum and Kanban. By the end, the goal is to clearly understand how Agile improves the way teams deliver value and respond to change. Agile was created as a response to a major problem in software development. Traditionally, teams used a method called Waterfall where everything was planned up front, built over a long period of time, and only shown to the customer at the very end. The issue was by the time the product was delivered, customer needs had often changed. For example, imagine building an app for 9 months, and when you finally show it, the client says, "This isn't what we need anymore." Agile fixes this by delivering small pieces early, getting feedback, and adjusting continuously. Instead of guessing what the customer wants up front, Agile teams learn as they go. To better understand Agile, it helps to compare it to Waterfall. Waterfall is linear. You complete one phase before moving to the next, like requirements, then design, then development, then testing. Once you move forward, it's very hard to go back. Agile is iterative, work is done in small cycles, and each cycle produces something usable. This means teams can test ideas early and adjust quickly. A simple example would be building a house versus building an app. A house needs detailed planning up front, but software can evolve. Agile takes advantage of that flexibility. One of the most important things to understand is that Agile is not just a process, it's a mindset. It's about being flexible, open to feedback, and willing to adapt. Instead of saying, "This is the plan and we must follow it," Agile teams say, "This is our direction, but we're ready to change if needed." For example, if a new feature suddenly becomes more important, Agile teams can shift their focus quickly without disrupting the entire project. The Agile Manifesto is built on four key values. First, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. This means communication and teamwork matter more than rigid systems. Second, working software over documentation. Documentation is still important, but the main goal is to deliver something functional. Third, customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Instead of strictly following a contract, Agile teams work closely with customers to meet their evolving needs. Fourth, responding to change over following a plan. Plans are helpful, but they shouldn't limit flexibility. A key point here is that both sides have value, but Agile prioritizes the left side because it leads to better outcomes. Value is defined by the customer. It's not about how much work is done, but how useful that work is. For example, a team could build 10 features, but if the customer only uses two of them, most of that work had little value. That's why Agile focuses on delivering small features early so the team can learn what actually matters and avoid wasting time on unnecessary work. Supported by several principles that guide how teams work. Teams deliver frequently so they can get feedback early. They welcome changes instead of resisting them. They work in small cycles to reduce risk. There is strong collaboration between business and technical teams, which helps align goals. Teams are trusted to manage their own work, which increases accountability and motivation. Another important principle is simplicity, doing only what is necessary. And finally, teams continuously reflect and improve their process. Together, these principles make teams more efficient and adaptable. Important distinction between being agile and doing agile. Doing agile means following the structure, having meetings, stand ups, and sprints. But being agile means actually thinking in an agile way, being flexible, collaborative, and focused on value. For example, a team might hold daily stand ups, but still resist change or ignore feedback. That means that they are doing agile, but not truly being agile. This is a common mistake in many organizations. Adoption and agile transformation are not the same. Adoption happens at a smaller level, like one team improving how they work. It's easier to implement and can show quick results. Transformation is much bigger. It affects the entire organization, including leadership, culture, and decision making. For example, if leadership still expects rigid planning and fixed outcomes, true agile transformation cannot happen. That's why transformations take more time and commitment. Shift in how people think about their work. Instead of focusing only on completing tasks, team focus on solving real business problems. For example, a developer is not just writing code, they're contributing to a solution that helps users or improves a process. Agile also encourages shared ownership where the team is collectively responsible for success rather than individuals working in isolation. Most widely used agile frameworks. It includes three roles. The product owner decides what work is important, the scrum master supports the team and removes obstacles, the development team builds the product. Scrum also uses structured events. Work is done in sprints, which are short time periods, usually around 2 weeks. There is sprint planning to decide what to work on, daily stand ups to stay aligned, sprint review to show progress, and retrospectives to improve the process. The retrospective is especially important because it helps the team continuously get better. Kanban is another agile approach, but it focuses on workflow instead of fixed time cycles. Work is visualized on a board which shows what is to do in progress and completed. One key concept is limiting work in progress. This means teams only work on a few tasks at a time instead of trying to do everything at once. For example, instead of juggling 10 tasks, a team might focus on three, finish them, and then move on. This improves focus and efficiency. Organizations, teams are often separated into departments and decisions come from top down. This can slow things down and limit flexibility. Agile organizations are more collaborative, teams communicate more, make faster decisions, and adapt quickly. This structure allows them to respond better to change and deliver value more efficiently. Key concept in Agile. It means focusing on doing only what is necessary instead of building every possible feature. Teams prioritize the most important ones. For example, instead of creating a complex system with many features, a team might start with a simple version that solves the main problem and improve it over time. This reduces wasted effort and speeds up delivery. Teams regularly reflect on their work through retrospectives. They ask questions like what worked well, what didn't, what can we improve? For example, if communication was unclear during a sprint, the team might decide to adjust how they share updates. This continuous improvement helps teams become more efficient over time. Agile is a mindset focused on delivering value through small iterative cycles. It emphasizes collaboration, adaptability, and continuous improvement. Instead of following rigid plans, agile teams stay flexible and focus on what matters most, delivering value to the customer.